When you are a business owner, especially a busy business owner, there is literally infinity tasks that are constantly weighing on your brain of the things that need to get done or you want to get done or what might lead to growth in your business. So in today's video, I want to talk about 8 really simple habits and systems that have helped me reduce the mental load as a business owner. I'm going to be honest, the last one I didn't even think was going to be possible until about 2 months ago. And what are my credentials to be making this video? I am now a 2-time small business owner and a complete systems nerd. I'm one of those people who's been using automation platforms like Zapier since 2019. And in my professional life, I was a chief of staff to high-powered executives where my job was to help manage multiple things at the same time without letting things fall through the cracks. And I relied on my organization and systems in order to keep all those balls moving. If you are a business owner who is looking to figure out how to get more done in less time and reduce the mental load of running your business, make sure to hit subscribe down below. The first habit that has helped me reduce my mental load is to have a designated place for everything. Now, this could go into a much larger discussion in terms of home organization and personal life, but for the sake of this video, we're talking about business. And so the 2 ways that this really actively applies for business is tasks and notes. So when I have a thought of something that needs to get done or something that I'd like to do, whether it's something urgent or just a one day that would be really nice, I have one place where these things go. I used to be one of those people that would just jot it down wherever was the fastest that I could get to. It could be my notes app, it could be the notebook that was sitting next to me on my desk. But the problem with this system is that then when you're actually in work mode or when you're focused on the project that is present in front of you, it wasn't consistently resurfacing these ideas that I had to myself. And so it left me with that nagging feeling of, ooh, something's falling through the cracks. Spending just 2 extra seconds navigating to the place where my tasks and my notes live, which for me is inside my Notion dashboard, has reduced so much of that mental load because all I have to do is get the task in there. I don't need to label it by project or due date, but I have a place in my system, it's called my inbox, where every once in a while I'm checking in and making sure to resurface those things. And that way, when I document a random thought or an idea into my tasks or my notes database, I know they're getting captured and I can then have that sort of like, they're not going missing feeling, which allows me to stay focused on the task at hand. Note here from the editing studio, as I was watching through this, I realized that I missed one important point, which has made this dramatically easier because sometimes the extra click that it would take to get to the place where my notes live or my task was literally the thing that was stopping me. It was the reason why it would end up in some random note on my iPhone rather than in my Notion dashboard. And the thing that really made the difference was adding shortcuts on my phone so that it was fewer clicks. So this will depend based on which system you use, but having a shortcut that takes you directly to the screen where these things go in can be a way to jumpstart this process so that you're not putting things in random places. The second tiny habit is going to sound so obvious, but it is important to make sure that you're doing this thing, which is recurring tasks. When you have things that you're doing repeatedly, you also want to reduce the mental load of remembering that you need to do that regularly. So when a task comes weekly or monthly or daily, setting it up as a recurring task in whatever your system may be can reduce the mental load of having to remember that thing. It's also, as a systems nerd who helps small business owners systematize and organize their businesses, things that are your recurring tasks should be your initial signals of this might be something that could be automated or systematized down the line. So getting in the habit first of setting them up as recurring tasks can be sort of step 0 for ultimately building more efficient and automated systems for you down the line. My third tiny habit that has been a game changer for saving me time and mental load in my business is I automated part of my bookkeeping process. So I do my own bookkeeping. That's not right for all businesses, but previously I would spend 1 hour every week, and sometimes depending on the week it would be more than an hour, pulling all my transactions from my credit card, from my bank account, and logging them into my bookkeeping spreadsheet, categorizing them appropriately. And then this was the great time that I would then sit and just refresh on the financial health of my business. What were the numbers looking like? What was it looking like moving forward? But that was time that I realized I didn't need to be spending. And so I set up some automations where all of those transactions are automatically imported into my spreadsheet. Let's be honest, it still needs review because sometimes the automation doesn't get it perfectly, but it has probably saved me an hour or 2 a week just getting the transactions logged into the spreadsheet automatically. I do this through a system of email notifications from my credit cards, which trigger a Zapier automation, which scrapes the data and drops it into my spreadsheet, but that's not the only way to handle it. The key is that the information is there for me in my bookkeeping spreadsheet to then review, tweak, and perfect, and I've skipped the step of having to manually input everything on a weekly or less than that basis if you're even less consistent. My fourth tiny habit may not actually be business associated, but it actually has helped me be significantly more efficient as a business owner. I really try to manage my social media scroll time, although it's hard as somebody who creates content to promote my business. I do need to be on social media occasionally, but I was noticing that when I would need to take a quick break from my work, I would open my phone, and because I'm trying to reduce my scrolling time, I often would click into my inbox and be reading through the various newsletters that I'm signed up for. And while this feels to me far more virtuous than scroll time on social media, and I certainly was learning things, I would then often click links and go off, and all of a sudden I had spent way more time reading these newsletters than I intended. There was also just the sort of like notification situation where every time I would check my inbox, I'd want to clear the new newsletters that came in the door. You may not be my brand of crazy, but I am somewhat of an inbox zero person, so if it was sitting there unread, it felt like it needed to be dealt with right now. So what I implemented was a newsletter folder. So I set up filters in my Google inbox that automatically pulls the newsletters that I get into a folder so that they're outside of my inbox and I don't feel the need to read them right now. But in those times when I do need a break, I actually do want to go read some content. It's just one extra click to click into my newsletter folder, and I have a lovely curated folder of all the newsletters that I love and enjoy so much, and none of the spam promotional emails that I can spend time intentionally clicking through without having to go scrolling through my inbox or go pull that email that I had read earlier that I didn't get time to finish. It's been a game changer for me consuming valuable content when I want to, but not interrupting my workflow to consume content when I didn't. My fifth habit is so basic that you're probably gonna roll my eyes and be like, oh my God, Samantha, so obvious. But that is optimizing your favorites and bookmarks. There are these places that most software systems will create for us to have sort of easy clicks, easy accessible places. And I don't know about you, but every once in a while I'll check them and realize that one of the things I have in my bookmarks, I haven't clicked in like months. So taking a moment to make sure that your bookmarks bar on your Chrome browser, your favorites bar down your Notion are the places that you're actually clicking to the most regularly. And if you notice yourself often typing something into your search bar to go find it, that is a perfect thing to be putting in your bookmarks. This may sound so small and you're like, it doesn't take me that much time to type it in. But I think you'd be surprised if you actually put these bookmarks and optimize them for the places that you're clicking most regularly, how much time the 3 seconds there and 10 seconds there might actually save you over the course of a week, a month, a year. My sixth tiny habit is a little bit more of a spring cleaning style, but it is a monthly cleanup routine. This may apply for different places in your business than it does in mine, but as somebody who creates content for YouTube and social media, I am constantly pulling in visual references or screenshots or video clips to help create the content that you see here. And as a result, my downloads folder, my YouTube folder on my Finder, and my Canva uploads folder can get a little messy. And I just know that it's not realistic that at the end of every project or when I complete a video edit that I'm going to immediately go in and clean up those things. Most of the time when I have finished an edit, I am so ready to get that thing up and cross that item off my list that I'm not in cleanup mode. But I do know as a systems expert the value of circling back and iterating and improving your systems. And so I have a monthly reminder to go in and clean up these places where I know things tend to accumulate. And that's filing images into folders, deleting things that I know are more one-time use. If a file I uploaded was way too high res and I needed to compress it in order to use it, going through the process of saving the compressed image, not the high res image. Doing this once a month feels manageable to me, and it means that when I'm in the day-to-day of editing a video or building a presentation, that I have the resources that I need to make that process much more streamlined, because I'm then not going to search for visual references as much. So a monthly refresh has helped me streamline those processes and make them feel like less of a burden each time that I'm in them. My seventh tiny habit is maybe not quite as much of a habit as it is a resource, and that is using a password manager. I will not talk about all of the security and safety reasons why password managers are beneficial, because if you're still using the same password that's like your dog's name and then your birthday, there are risks associated. But having a password manager also saves me so much time in dealing with the annoying, I have to reset my password, and then where am I going to write it down so that I remember it, but that's also safe. My password manager, at this point I use LastPass, but there are many other ones out there, works because when I change a password, it automatically saves it for me. And then when I'm on a website where I have a saved password, it automatically populates it for me. And those are just little minutes that I so love that I don't have to go spend either remembering or looking up passwords for all my various systems. And it has even more benefits for business owners who might be needing to share passwords to different systems, to different members of their team eventually. Having them all in one place means that you don't have to go hunting when those situations come up. And the last tiny habit, I'm gonna be honest, I really didn't think this was going to be possible up until about a couple of months ago. And that is a skill I have built into my Claude system for content repurposing. As you know, I create content for YouTube and other social media platforms. I also write a weekly blog tied to my YouTube. It's a lot of content that I am trying to churn out as a one-woman show here, and I used to get so frustrated by how long it would take me once I'd created one piece of content to then make it work for all the different places. And more recently, in the dawn of the Claude AI age, I've been able to build a skill that when I feed it my YouTube content gives me first drafts of all the various different modes of content that I need. Some of the easy ones include the YouTube description, and then also I generate a written version of every video I create to my blog. This Claude skill saves me hours a week, and if I'm being honest, it has added output that I have been able to create that I was just not able to do before because it took too much time as a one-person business. So that is one that has been an absolute game changer. I will be honest, it took me a while to get it right. I had to build it, use it a couple times, refine it, had to teach it how to write like me, but it is one of the enormous game changers in the amount of time I spend doing a specific task in my business. So if you have not dug into the magical world that is skills within your Claude dashboard, I absolutely recommend it. And if you're curious what some other skills that I use in my business that have helped me be more efficient and generate better quality output from Claude, definitely drop that in the comments down below, and I'll do another video digging into it. As an operations consultant for small businesses, we're often talking about the big systems, the big massive changes that you can make to reduce the mental load so that you have more energy to do the part of your business that you actually love. But these small habits are ways that you can chip away around the edges to give yourself more time and fewer of those, oh shit, did I do that in the middle of the night jerk moments? So I hope you will implement one of these and then come back in the comments and tell me how it worked. And if you enjoyed anything about this video, it really would mean a lot if you'd hit that subscribe button down below. And with that, we'll see you in the next one.